I don't necessarily think it was, like a role player thing. I think, we generated good shots. We, they're number one in the league in generating corner threes. A lot of that is, Hart and Brunson pushing in transition, and Bridges and Anunoby getting to those corners, and then the half court. They do a great job of, multiple drives into the paint, and they generate corner threes that way. They made 11 of 23. Now, some of those were towards the end of the game when we were firing. Some of those were off offensive rebounds, but they made 11 of them. We were 2 of 14, and I thought we got good looks. The defense in the first half in our zone, we played 23 possessions of it, held them to 19 points. They did enough throughout the game to put ourselves in a position to play to win at the end. But yeah, the shooting, that their shooting killed us, and our shooting didn't help us. Some of it was who they had on the floor, and that's fairly typical. It's against Cleveland. We didn't use it a ton when Merrill and Mitchell were on the floor together, but there are times that we're forced to go to it. The guys have done a great job, and then once we've gone to man out of it, they've been awesome. And I thought that was really good at times tonight. I thought the job we did once we went to man against Brunson for the most part was good all night. What did he end up with? 12 points. He's averaging almost 30 a game. He did a nice job of facilitating and making plays for his teammates, but limiting him to 12 was good. I just would say he's game day to day, game to game, whatever you want to phrase it. We'll hopefully have him for Tuesday, but he's got to feel 100% confident.
Obviously, 3-point shooting. We couldn't consistently make shots from the perimeter, and then extra possessions. They got extra possessions. They kicked out for Culver's and knocked him down. I think that was the game right there.
Before the game, we learned that you were named to the All-Star team yet again. It's something that you've talked about many times, but what does it mean to be in this unprecedented year 23 and still be at an All-Star level?
Obviously, super humbling. The coaches voted, right? Mad respect to the coaches, and them seeing I'm still playing at this latter stage of my career, and to be able to be an All-Star, means a lot to my family, my people that's been following my career, my LeBron faithful, that's been following my journey, and but it's just, I don't know, man. It's always rewarding, just from a humble standpoint, to be able to be rewarded for your what you put your work into. So it's pretty cool.
Well, it's basically a year to the day of when the trade happened last season with Dallas. A year later, how do you feel like the championship pursuit for this organization is, having had time to have the pieces settled to some degree and figure out how to work together as a new group?
I can only speak to the group that we have here. We're 29-19 right now. We've had some really good moments. We have some not so good moments. We want to continue to try to build off of that. Me speaking on anything other than that is not it's not my pay grade.
The question was just about this group.
I like this group, but we gotta continue to get better. And that's good. We should want to get better. It's February 1st, but we want to continue to get better and better. We're going 48 games now. So it's a tough Western Conference. It's a tough league. And it's like I said. It's been tough. All season, as far as dealing with injuries, guys in, guys out. Unfortunately, our all-star, two guard has been out for a minute, and that's a big piece of our team. So it's kind of hard to see what we can really truly be.
Obviously secondary to the last night, but after you missed the amount of games that you missed to start this year, did you think that that this All-Star streak was in jeopardy?
I'm gonna be honest, I really didn't think about it. To be honest, it wasn't a goal of mine to come into the season, miss the first 14 games, and say, okay, I need to be an All-Star. You know, I just wanted to get back to playing the game at a high level I knew I was capable of once I kind of worked the rust off of missing preseason, training camp, my summer workouts, which I've never done in my whole career. So I didn't think about the All-Star game, to be honest.
Do you feel good about where you're at physically at this point? Through this stretch.
Yeah, how I look.
Huh? Sorry, I'm trying to.
I look pretty good. I mean, did I just pass like 60,000 minutes like that? I will hope I look pretty good. I mean, yeah, I look all right.
What has playing at Madison Square Garden meant to you throughout your career?
Everything. I mean, it's the mecca of basketball here in New York City. Obviously, it's the Big Apple. You know, being here at MSG, playing here. You know, it's so many guys have walked this court. You know, either from basketball to entertainment to actors and musicians. I mean, everything. Like it's been a wide range of importance of people to be able to grace this floor, and I hope I have like a little small snippet of somebody that came through here and was able to make a little small dent, from a visitor's perspective. So it's cool. It's always electric in here. They find a way to make sure that I'm here on weekends, pretty much. But it's a pretty cool treat.
What was it like getting a little bit of an ovation during the starting lineup announcements for these fans?
Pretty cool, man. Pretty cool. I've always loved these fans here. Love New York. And always respect. They got a great knowledge of the game of basketball and sports in general. They know what they know what sports is all about. They know when they see something pretty cool. So I'll just give my respect back.
Knowing that you really have been open about your playing future, to know that you're playing at this level, you say you feel good. Like, would it be a level of discontent to not play here again, to play in an arena like Madison Square Garden?
I mean, at the end of the day, everything has to come to an end at some point. So no matter what it is, it's going to be like, I never play again in Madison Square Garden. I would never play again in certain arenas. I would never play again, period. So, I mean, at that point, it doesn't matter. You're going to always miss it. You're going to miss the game in general. So it doesn't this one will always have like a special place in the journey because it is Madison Square Garden. So, but yeah, when that time comes, yeah, for sure.
Deandre, where'd you feel like the biggest difference in the game was tonight, and where the Knicks were able to separate a little bit?
Honestly, coming out in the second half, they were making shots, and we were missing ours, and that was a big difference. It brought them momentum off, good possessions and good defensive possessions where, they were getting daggers and they had us scrambling a little bit after offensive boards and they were hitting daggers. And, you bring the MSG fans involved, it's going to sound like a playoff game.
There have been different stretches this season where you guys played really well in the first half and not in the third, or vice versa. It seems like the third quarter has been a little tougher on this trip. Have you guys seen anything coming out of halftime to sharpen up a little?
Yeah, most definitely got to sharpen up the third quarter. Not want to make that a habit. I'd say we confronted it as well after this game. Having a big game like this, we definitely pointed that out. As one of our things we need to pick up and just come together collectively and just be accountable.
What are the stars telling you about, you mentioned the beginning of these second halves, but what are they saying to you directly about, hey, like, this isn't all on you, like, we need to do a better job getting you the ball, we need to put you in better positions? Like, what have they been saying over the last week or so about that?
Me, mainly just playing my role hard and just setting screens and rolling to the rim. I don't really think about any of that. I trust my playmakers in Bron, AR, and Luka, and I just feel like the pace of the game. They have so much firepower. It's a thing where I just gotta stick to my script and stick to the way I'm playing, the way how I can contribute. And energy gonna find ball gonna find energy. This team, when we get hot, we get hot. So I'm not really tripping. My main goal is just to anchor the defense and close out defensive possessions.
How important is it to you guys to try to get a victory in Brooklyn to close out the trip?
Oh, yeah, most definitely important to us. We trying to finish this thing with a good record and, just bring that momentum home. We got a good stretch before the break, and we want to finish off strong.
The crowd going, but like you say, I think we missed
some great looks, and they made some great looks. So, especially in that third quarter.
Just the fact that LeBron did earn his next All-Star appearance, you getting to play with him as much as you have in the last month and a half. Like, what is that like to see him get celebrated like that?
I mean, of course, he deserves it. He's playing at the top level still at that age, which is incredible to share the floor with. So, congratulations to him, and he obviously deserves it.
Y'all see Jalen Brunson after the game. Obviously, y'all playing together and him having his career that he's got in the Stanley share. What's it like to compete with him in a spot as big as this and see him happen?
I mean, great. He'll always be my guy. We came into the league together, same team. But he deserves this. He deserves to be in this spot, and he's doing amazing.
Big picture, a year after being traded to the Lakers from a team that had made it to the finals, where do you think this Lakers group is in terms of a pursuit of a deep playoff run, a finals appearance after the ultimate goal?
I think we're in a good spot. Obviously have some work to do, but I think today we obviously miss a lot of good looks, but I think we have a great group.
Luka, it looked like you were having some fun up there during the game with like Spike Lee and some of the other people in the crowd. Just what do you like about playing at Madison Square Garden?
I mean, just it's obviously one of the most famous arenas, so probably because of that, I like it.
Look, they are this close, but not all the way there. Yeah. I guess how much you started to get hit back, and I guess how much of that just effort needs to be 100% comfortable.
I mean, it's definitely hard with the calf. I've been through that. It's not an easy injury, so we just want him to be healthy. If he's not ready to come back, don't come back. But obviously, we would love to have him out there. We can't wait for his return.